Welcome back to the channel for your source of Marvel Strike Force information for players who plan first and spend if there's value there. Often isn't, so most of my advice is useful to free-to-play players as well. My primary game goal is kind of why I want to talk to you today. I just need to open up on some things that have become clear recently. It's preparing for Dark Dimension 4 to team up Doctor Doom with the Fantastic Four. It's just what I want to do. Like, you know, since the Fantastic Four came out the previous summer, I got really excited about them. Got them ready, bought their offers, and have generally been let down by them for the last year and a half because they're not really what I expected. 3 buttons per character doesn't really do it for me. It's not enough. But hopefully we'll learn more about that soon, and what I want to talk about now is, you know, in general, on what's happening with Doctor Doom. So Doctor Doom is a gorgeous model of a character. We had a mini event last week that I already played through while my system was down. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to capture that. But in general, I would just want to say that he has a couple of interesting buttons of his 3 buttons, but mostly not very interesting as a character, as he is played in this game. As far as the character in comics, he's amazing, right? Fantastic Four are an amazing team to build and to work with and understand how their adventures through comics too. In this game, you know, what I use them for is primarily to fight Fantastic Four teams that are on defense in war 3 times a week, if they're crazy enough to put a She-Hulk on the team, because they're very easy to beat a She-Hulk team with a Namor Fantastic Four team. So that's what I use mine for, and I just wish there was more to them than that. And there isn't, and there won't be. So when I look at Doom, I wish there was more to him than this. Like one turn where you're like, hey, do I want my Doom bot to die? Do I want to use a special on turn 1, or do I want to? All you think about with Doom is turn 1. Do you want to make his Doom bot blow up and apply heal block, or do you want to apply disrupted to someone? That is the entire decisions to make with Doom. Then you push his time platform button, he goes crazy, blows things up. Maybe the whole team, probably not. If you look at the little event we had last week, didn't blow up the Black Order team that I was against. Didn't blow up the Inhumans team. Still had to clean them up. So it doesn't finish anything there. His cooldowns are too long to use in raids. So I've been thinking, like, what is he good for? I mean, he's good for Alliance War, but more importantly, and more likely to me, is he's been built to help in versus PvP modes like launch this week that don't allow legendaries. That's what he's for. Are you excited about playing versus PvP modes without legendaries? Because that is yet another game mode we'll need to add to what to me is becoming some pretty significant game fatigue. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But he doesn't change the game meta in any way that I could tell. I mean, as far as having a burner team to go into, say, the final node of a raid, yeah, okay. You could use your Black Order to burn through a bit of it. You can use a Doom team and then a synergy team like Symbiotes if it takes all 3 to get through all of them. Maybe he helps in one node. He's a character that's picked up Phoenix's most unfortunate trait. You can use him for 1 node. In fact, you really use him for 2 turns. And like after that, what? I mean, maybe he can apply Disrupted and Hella can spread it. Once, I mean, he could do that. Can't do that if you just need to disrupt a lot of things. But he doesn't provide any kind of healing, no benefits or buffs to the team, no buff clearing. He's a disappointment already, and I think that's why we got the mini event we had, to try to drive some more excitement, because hey, everybody needs to get excited about Dark Dimension 4 and spin. A lot of people will. But if you look at his kit and how he played in that mini event, I think it's hard. You'd be hard pressed to think through like why would you do that? Like you need to find another thing, and that's that's the hard part for me. Is like that has been the entire hope for my game since I completed Dark Dimension 3. I was like, okay, I'll get ready for Doom, Dark Dimension 4. That is why I want to play. And now it's more like where I ended up with MMOs before I moved to some mobile gaming, and kind of the unfortunate world of all these loot box games is like, hey, when I was there in MMOs, it's like, hey, I can keep raiding so I get more gear to keep raiding. Or I can do my dailies to get some more gear so I can do my dailies a little easier. Do I like doing those things? Because I've gotten away from like, hey, I love the story. I love this world. I love these things. I want to go explore. It's like, well, let's explore now. Like, I can collect characters in Marvel Strike Force, and I will. I'm not saying I'm quitting. I'm just saying I'm a bit disappointed. And that disappointment is directed directly at the core of the game. Because we're collecting characters. These are my favorite characters, and they're disappointing. They were already kind of a challenge, given that we only ever get to play with 3 buttons with them. We get 3 buttons on all these characters. 3 buttons. And Doom's buttons are fairly unimpressive. Like, you can push them, and then you're going to wait a really long time until you can push his time platform again. Okay, and why is that? It's because we push those same 3 buttons a lot of times. And that's the other part of the game that it wears on me at times. Like, I have a high stamina for gaming. Like, that's why I was able to blitz as hard as I did for as long as I have. That's that's just kind of my thing, is the gaming stamina more than the spending. And I love the strategy too, but this is starting to wear on me. It's like, hey, when I used to get worn out by 2 or 3 hour raids in an MMO happening 2 to 3 times a week, that's one thing. But now, well, look at what our road ahead for the next years. And this is never listed out about this game. Like, being clear about what in-game is. That's 156 Alliance Wars a year. With the surge at the start, with the applying the buffs on your defensive teams, with the watching for the right team to match up with your war offense teams, for full 24 hours, 3 times a week. That's 156 times a year we'll be doing that next year. 208 blitz climbs, even with the blitz sim. That's a lot of interaction that's required. And one of my favorite parts about this game happens to be like the blitz milestones, and working through those. Blitz sim, like, might make it even too easy. Like, I'll be like, click, 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 like four blitz sim wins, and then I start one, and then I exit with a loss, and then 4 blitz sim wins. What have I done? I will now put almost the entire game on auto. I won't even be using the characters anymore. It's like, hey, look, this is really cool, man. Like, oh, wow, I have all these things in my list, in my app. Isn't that cool? But I don't actually play with them anymore. That's where it's heading. And I'm very aware of it. 756 raids a year. I mean, that's a lot. We are doing a lot of those. You miss a couple nodes and you drop from 60% to 100%. It only takes one fatigued person across a 24-person alliance to really mess that up too. So, and not even mess it up. It's not that much of a difference in the rewards, whether you do it or not. That is with those 3 that are currently in our game is one thing. And what you know is going to happen over the next years, they're going to continue to work on emphasizing the versus PvP modes, because they have not monetized it yet. And you know what? They are going to. That's why we saw a new versus PvP mode launch this week that doesn't allow legendaries and happens to be where Doom's best place is. Like, that is literally the only meta changing thing. Like, hey, we're going to have that. But of course, if the other player doesn't have Doom, he's going to get banned. And then, is he meta? You have to have somebody better than Doom, 2 to 4 to 6 characters better than Doom, so that he's not banned. What is he here for? What does he mean to you? I'd love to hear. I mean, I know what I wanted him to be, but I'm trying to be really honest with myself about what he's going to be and what this next year is going to look like. And I'm not talking about leaving. I'm just talking about, hey, man, maybe I just need to put this phone down a little bit more and have some more fun. So if they start ramping up versus PvP on top of all those other things that are up there in that list, that's a lot more time here to collect characters when they've already messed up, for me, my favorites. I don't know what they could bring that could make it more exciting than that. They're going to bring a bunch of characters that will look gorgeous, and I'll collect them. They'll have 3 buttons. Yeah, they'll have 3 buttons. And then they're also adding, the only other thing that I could think of that's coming out next year is we'll finish Dark Dimension 4, and they've already been data mined some additional frames to go around the character avatar that you choose. So you can just keep repeating Dark Dimension 4 and 3. Maybe 3 gets an orange colored one, and 4 appears to be getting a green one. I don't know. It's just a strange place. Like, I spent some time with my computer down, and I guess it made me introspective. It made me really think about what this game is, what's coming, and then they launched the little Doom mini event, and I was like, that's all he's going to be? And he has a tough time in this mini event against Inhumans, because it was already very clear that he would spend all his time against a Black Bolt team being disrupted. Exactly what happened. Up against a Black Order team, he did win. I don't know if the stats are right. It looked like they were going up against a Gear 14 Black Order team. I mean, I can win against that. That's not a problem. I mean, I one-shot all 3 of those things, which is probably unfortunate now that I couldn't have recorded and showed you. But, yeah. I mean, he blows up. He blows up. And then, because he only has 3 buttons, that's all he does. And we'll have new ISO tiers, and we'll have this and that, and you're like, and I'm like, but I'm in that place in MMOs where I'm just like raiding for the sake of getting gear so I can raid some more. I don't even, am I having fun still? Is the question that I'm on. And I hope that you are, and I hope that if you're not, you can find something that's fun. And within the game, there are things that are fun. I just wish that we had a way to dial back number 2 here. How can we dial that back? Just dial it back so we can enjoy the collecting more. Figure out some way to use these characters, have a little more fun with them, maybe open up a 4th button for each character to really mess with things. I don't know. What do you think? I'm just glad to be back with you today, and I hope that, I may be able to do some more collabs this week with another content creator, and I'm excited to do that. That's fun for me. But beyond that, what do you think? What do you think about Dr. Doom? What do you think about what it means to play Marvel Strike Force day in and day out over the long term? And I hope you found a way to play this that's a lot of fun for you. And if not, take some breaks. I'm looking forward to just the holiday week next week. So have a great day this evening, wherever you are, and I will see you again soon.